Peace and blessings, family. I am Chi Vital, aka King Chi, and I am back with another tool for your toolkits and how to create your lives. Well, here we are. Tonight's video, I'm going to just dedicate it to a bit of an open forum. I took some time to just kind of collect my thoughts and had a range of ideas and information to share with you. But in order for us to get to those things, I felt a great need to start from the beginning. And so the question that brings us to the beginning is, are you ready for the occult? All right, so as you tune in, thumbs up this video and let me know you're in the building. Peace, Technique Twin, and we can get started. Okay. Um, Many of you who are familiar with the House of Chi, we once upon a time discussed a lot more on the subject matter of how to communicate and how to get everyone on board when it comes to whatever direction you're moving in, when it comes to family and how you all are going to be relating to one another. And as we've grown over the years, it's been a pleasure. I still feel like there's many of us that should return to this question. And for those of you who are rather new to embarking on what is considered the occult, let's get into it. I'm just going to shift my camera a little bit because I feel like we're looking at the ceiling. I want to ask this question. So, from a psychological point of view, I thought of the one thing that is a major factor, and we may not consider it, but you will now, and it will make all the sense in the world. After the question, are you ready for the occult? Okay. I want you to ask the question if you are stress fit. Okay. Stress, like you stressed out, are you stress fit? What we understand about the occult is that we're going into a space that is very much hidden, and it comes with a lot of weight of outside judgment, internal judgments, and a bit of secrecy, which can create a level of isolation to some degree, right? Outside of your peers who may be studying occult topics or practicing occult magic, because there's a difference between studying and practicing, there will definitely be a limit to the numbers of people that you are now going to be having conversations that are interesting to you at all. And with that comes another layer of stress. All right. So we all know we have our normal stress in our lives, but there's another aspect of stress associated with shifting gears. It comes in the initial stages, and then it comes in another wave when your practice becomes evident that you're no longer now a thrill-seeking hobbyist, but you are choosing a lifestyle of occultism. All right, press 1 in the chat if you are following what I am sharing with you tonight. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's get some magnifying glasses, because living in such a way is going to lead you to a lifestyle of really looking at things closely. So if you have the magnifying glasses, I don't think we've ever used that. You can put your nerd in there with the glasses or put your magnifying glass, but we want to be in such a state that we can look at things more closely. All right. In order for us to understand this journey, I also want to point to the essence of occultism that is most magical when dealt with from a place of balance. This balance is the disciplined masculine force and the deep, subtle, secretive energy of the feminine. And with the coexistence of each brings forth magical or miraculous or calculated outcomes, manifestations. All right. Occultism, as far as your readiness is concerned, is going to deal very, very heavily with your mental state and your ability to handle stressful situations. Most people in our society can accept joining groups that are truly like secret societies in their own sense, like the military, right? Military, special ops, um, even joining the police force. These organizations come with a lot of stress in the training before going out into the field, because your ability to handle stressful situations is going to determine the likelihood of your success or your failure during the practice. In the military, you have to go through a period of boot camp and things that will happen there with your comrades that no one else knows about, that you're not supposed to share with anyone else, in order for you to build a level of trust with the people that you're going to be rolling with, right? Your trust shifts from your mom and father to your general. And more so, you are actively choosing to follow instructions from another adult based on trusting your life with them. Okay? And the things that go on, you may or you may not be able to report them back to home base. Whether you are dealing with a group of people when it comes to studying something in the occult, or you're working with a particular set of energies, those same rules still apply. And the first part is, if you're stress fit, meaning while you have the weight of your mundane life on the table to deal with, right? Providing, making sure you're well fed, your family's taken care of, your health is doing fine, you have the resources to keep a roof over your head. You also have the weight of being fully present, body, mind, and spirit, with energies or with the instructions that you need to follow in order to receive clearance to work with other energies or other tools. And it can be challenging sometimes, because if you're not mentally in a place where you can be stressed in one area and not let it affect the other, you can find yourself in a dangerous spot of either oversharing reacting aggressively towards those who are curious, um, by their own nature and their relationship to you, and you wanting to set strong boundaries, and them not really understanding that you're trying to set the boundary out of love and respect for yourself and for them, but they still pushing. And then you have the other things going on where, because it's apparent that you're associated with people who are interested in these types of arts, that somehow each person that you're associated with, the whole, what is it, birds of a feather flock together, that what is kind of far from the truth in this sense is that the groups of occultists, as you'll begin to understand, are some of the most opinionated, independent thinkers on the planet. They actually happen to be a group of people that come together because they consistently push against the illusions that are constantly being offered to the masses. Take this, this is real. Take this is true. And they're questioning and questioning, and they want to get underneath, they want to get to the truth of it, right? But the outside world would think, oh, you guys, you believe in something that is evil because they don't understand it, which is natural, right? People who don't understand something and they see something from the outside, their perspective is this big and narrow. Meanwhile, you're in a space of exploration and seeing that some of the most beautiful things come from very dark places. Okay? Um, so that's a bit stressful. Yeah? And I want you to know for yourself, are you in a place mentally that while you're under that kind of stress already, you'll be able to still stand your ground and maintain a level of peace within yourself, within your home, and when you address any of your rituals or your meditations or your conversations with your teachers or with deities that present themselves. Okay? So there's two things as you move further into your occult practices that you should become aware of as far as practices. And then there's two things psychologically that you should be very well aware of, because they become your blind spots and your vulnerabilities amongst people and amongst energies in the different realms. So I want you to write this down. So if you don't have a notebook, which will be kind of strange at this point in time, um, I want you to get your notebook and write this down. Um, and they don't have to be elaborate. All right? They don't have to be elaborate. But these two practices are, something that you should endeavor to have under your belt as you're deciding to go, more deeper into the occult sciences. One of them is a form of banishing, which is being able to clear your space and to clear your tools, to clear your body on various levels, right? So, detoxing is one form of banishing. Fasting from particular music and, social media or engagement with content is a form of banishing. It's a purification. Um, but as you're eliminating one, you're also taking in another. So if you're not listening to, a certain kind of music because it excites or attracts a certain kind of energy you want to clear, you'll lean into your tools of using particular mantras, sound therapy, and frequencies to banish energy. All right? We're not even getting to the level of calling out particular spirits and doing ceremonial magic and cutting things down and washing this down. Just a basic form of vanishing. How do you clear your altar and reset it for a new working, right? The other is setting up protection, all right? And your first line of protection, which is why I'm saying being stress fit is important, your first line of protection is psychic. It is psychic. Psycho, emotional, that is where you need to be very clear about what are some of your go-tos in order to clear your mind, to set up protection over your psyche when you're opening yourself up to these spaces. And so what goes along with that is understanding these two things about yourself. All right? Your weaknesses physically, your heart, your lungs, your digestive system, your internal thermostat, hormonal imbalances, psychological imbalances, your weaknesses. Okay? Self-esteem, level of confidence. You may literally have a handicap. Okay? Any disease within your body, any addictions. These are your weaknesses. You want to know what they are. And two, you want to know what your fears are. Okay? Your fears. The reasons why you want to know your weaknesses and your fears is because as you lose yourself, your physical self, and you move into inviting other energies to communicate with you or for you to even explore your internal world, you want to be like ahead of the ball and know that some of the things that may immediately push your buttons are going to come to you within the spaces of what you're fearful of and where your weaknesses are. In knowing that and becoming very, very familiar with it and comfortable with knowing those things, like facing it head on, you're going to have the opportunity for putting yourself through a level of boot camp and stress fitness to be able to see those things when they get amplified and not run away, but to stand strong and then lean into it. Because some of the first levels of preparing oneself for graduating towards initiations and clearances, right, is being able to lean with confidence into yourself, into the aspects of yourself that create pockets of danger. Some of the illusions that you're strongly attached to. Some of the things that when you are either, you're dreaming often and you're seeing particular things either being taken from you or you're being mistreated. If you're able to witness yourself in these other people, in these other circumstances, while going deep into the unseen and come out with the information and to lay it out and to investigate it as much as possible from a place of witnessing. Have you trained yourself for that? Have you practiced in looking at some of the things that want to trigger you the most, or what's pushing you to want to learn how to bind someone? What is pushing you to want to learn how to attack someone magically? What is pushing you to want to belong to a group that can cause uh, chaos and mayhem? What is pushing you to want to learn how to manipulate another person or your environment to um, be at your service, right? When folks decide to sign up for places of power, because studying the occult gives you another level of power, right? Your understanding is not just one of intellectual ability. Your understanding gives you access to how you present information so that it serves you. Your understanding is giving you access to how to manipulate the elements so that your life serves you. When doing this work, if it's not making your life better, then why are you doing it? And so a lot of it does go towards wanting to have more power, more self-mastery, but self-mastery so that someone else is not making good use of the power that you have and that you're keeping that power for yourself. Right? Press 1 in the chat if that's why you want to study. Because I know one thing is we talk about, these people who are in positions of authority that are absolutely bonkers and they be wilding, right? We have these groups of people in these uniforms that we often wonder to ourselves, by the way of their behavior, were they bullied as kids? Were they, the crossing guard and nobody wanted to be their friend? And so now they have a badge of power that now they abuse people. They kill people for no reason. What is that about? And when we question it, we don't question it because we want to be like that. So do you want to just get into a space of knowledge and wisdom of things that are not easily attainable by the masses so that you can bully people spiritually? And be mindful of that. Because when you go into the studies, that would be one of your weaknesses because it's something that's driving you. And so energies will test you on that. They may make things happen to you first, to people that you feel very close to. If you're not aware of your weaknesses are not just where you need assistance, but where you are heavily attached and driven. Okay? What I love about this weekend, speaking of which, is that you all, this is something that you can look at your charts for, but you all should have seen, if not this morning, okay, over this weekend, you should see very clearly visions in your dreams and your reality of what you are absolutely passionate about. Things that you're passionate about and you end up struggling with because you really want those things to be like your satisfaction is tied to these certain circumstances. Press 1 in the chat if you've experienced that already this weekend. Like if you're having dreams that show you all of the things that really bring you joy, all these different circumstances that you're like, this is wonderful, then you are seeing clearly your passions. All right, those things that you are like, want that, got to have that. You know, you might be seeing yourself, you know, in a really dope C-suite, corner office, top floor, and everyone is working for you because you really, really are passionate about getting to the top of your game career-wise. You know what I'm saying? And when that's the case, that means that's going to be the battleground for you because you want it, you desire it. And because you're seeking to feel that satisfaction, you have to be clear of when that can either be a smoke and mirror or true opportunity, especially when you're working with energies where you're saying, hey, here's my petition, this is what I want, and then suddenly like 10 different opportunities within that field appear, and you have to have the discernment of which one is real and which one is just a trap. All right. And so part of that is softening your grip on that passion so that you can be more of an observer, see clearly, and ask the right questions and get all of the contracts in order for you. Can you do that? Meanwhile, you have to get home at a certain time. You got to tidy up your home. You have to cook, to clean. You have to travel, pick up a child, drop off a child, have connection with your mate. Can you do that? Can you still maintain that? And what practice do you have in order to do that? So there's two things when you ask yourself, are you ready for the occult? Do you have consistency in your life? Do you have a practice that allows you or informs you to go into a trance-like state? So consistency. Do you have a consistent workout regimen where you are physically training your body to follow your command? Do you have consistency in a meditative practice that allows you to tap into a level of relaxation that leads into trance without any drugs, without any teas, without any plant medicine, just simply being able to relax enough into a space where your consciousness can rise and you can begin to communicate at a higher level. Because I promise you, it's not going to be easy going into these spaces and living your life effectively if you always have to be relying on some third-party substance in order to listen and to hear, right? And it's not going to be easy for you if you cannot follow a discipline, especially where your body is involved, whether it's the way that you eat or the way that you exercise. Okay? And too often it's shown that, folks put that to the side because they can either hit a really good blunt and have a dope meditation of some sort, but they can't keep a discipline so that they can gain traction in their physical, mundane lives and be able to afford the privilege that it is to have time to do ritual. You can't do ritual in a rushed way. That ain't it. The more you rushing is, the more you'll be waiting. You see what I'm saying? So look at the things that you do. You know, if you have a job and it has a particular time frame where you have to dedicate your time to being at a desk or driving a vehicle or answering phones, how do you begin to tailor that aspect of your life to allow you to have occult time, right? Whatever you're eating, do you have some type of boundaries about what you're going to be eating? You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to be on a detox to have discipline around what you eat and the moderation of how much of what you're eating. Um, and physical exercise and movement. I can't stress it enough. We have to move. We have to move our bodies. We need to become very familiar with our bodies from head to toe. Some of y'all don't even lotion your skin. And I suggest that you do. Be very familiar with your body. When things hurt, acknowledge it. Find ways by paying attention to that hurt to relieve it. Because if you cannot relieve pain in your body just by your own willingness to physically manipulate it, then how are you going to get into a more powerful piece of your mind and manipulate it into peace and calm when you're in the presence of high frequency charging you up just by its presence and not becoming a zombie or just zapping out and missing the experience altogether? All right, it's making sense? So if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And for those of you who've been here, let me get some hearts because y'all know I love love. I ain't getting no hearts yet. Listen, man, it's a lot of adults that don't use washcloths and they don't lotion their skin. Okay? And they don't dry their toes. There's adults out here that don't clean their belly button. And so I'm telling you, it matters. It matters. And if it's you, no shade, because I don't know it's you, but now you know that I know. Get to it. Get to it. Get to it. So that's all I want to share with y'all tonight. Yeah. I can go into a whole nother stage, but I'm gonna save that one for maybe Monday. I might be here tomorrow. Maybe Monday though. Okay. All right, family. Thanks for being here. Peace, love, and bliss. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm out.